Hi guys, it's Dark Age Week here on beastsofwar.com, and we have an amazing prize pool that must be won. First up, we have an amazing 1000 point 2-player starter bundle for you and me to get into the game, including 2 500 point armies, all the cards, tokens and templates you need to get into the game, and signed copies of the core rulebook and the Forsaken book. We then have 7 starter sets up for grabs, also including a signed copy of the core rulebook. As if that wasn't enough prizes for you, our Beasts of War members are in with a chance of winning 5 amazing spot prizes from some of the coolest comments this week. Hi guys, welcome to Dark Age Week here on beastsofwar.com. As you can see, I'm joined by 2 of the guys from Cool Mini or Not. This is Dave and Michael. Welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Great to be here.
In today's episode, we're going to be having a look at the world of Dark Age and getting a brief overview of just what's happening in this world. So, we'll jump straight into it with one of the best pieces of artwork I've seen in a long time. We have this, which is Port City, which I think is the main city of this planet. So, Michael, what are we seeing here?
So, as you said, this is Port City. This is basically the hub of the world. So the big planet that Dark Age takes place on, it's basically uninhabitable. It was not meant to facilitate life. This is one of the few areas that actually people can live on and not die immediately. This is before the collapse, this was the major spaceport that was the gateway on and off the planet. So It's been 500 years since everyone was abandoned here, and this has become basically the central hub of all the events taking place in the game.
Well, I mean, like, from what we see in the image, it does look as if, you know, the city walls were built to last, but people have been building shanties on top and in the inner ring. And then on in from that, what are we seeing?
So in the center right there, the city belongs to the Forsaken, which is the faction in the game that basically still has the
I'm guessing the most technology left over?
The most technology. They're the ones that are basically still the last remnants of organized society. In the center right there, you have the area that the Prevailer Council, who are basically the heads of the organization, the heads of the faction. That's where they keep all their private technology and everything from the rest of the unclean masses.
Right. Speaking of the unclean masses, I'm guessing this is them here.
That is correct. That is the Outcasts, and we'll let Dave talk about them.
Yeah, these are the Outcasts are the humans that after the abandonment decided to
I'll assume
leave.
they don't want to be part of the society. They're just going, oh, law and order? Nah, not for me.
No, they wanted to get out of Port City and make their own way in the world. So we've got the Outcasts are those who have left. Here in this picture, they're fighting the Scarred, who are another human, subhuman faction.
Human-ish, we'll say. Human-ish.
Mostly human.
Quick question. Who is this big dude? He's huge.
That's Mongo. He's one of the sort of iconic characters, models of Dark Age. He is huge. There are 2 big lumps of concrete strapped to his arms there.
Well, I'm guessing technology is going to be breaking down. It's 500 years later. People are not going to really know what is a computer, what is Facebook anymore. You know, I'm guessing he's just going, okay, I need something to hit people. There's 2 big lumps of concrete. Let's strap those on my arm, and off we go.
You work with what you have.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we also have this, which I really like. It's a nice big battle scene from the world of Dark Age. So who are we seeing here?
Here you are seeing Forsaken fighting the Core. The Core are basically an army of old factory robots that have come back online or are out just trying to kill everyone in the wasteland.
Right. So basically, Wall-E gone nasty.
That's one way of putting it, but yeah, I like the analogy.
Sorry, it's what I always do whenever I see this kind of things. I refer to movies, and with this, it's just, something really bad has happened here. I'm seeing people getting torn to shreds, and they do just look really, really sinister, which is very, very cool. Next up, we have a big battle scene, which I'm guessing we're seeing Forsaken versus the Scarred?
That's correct. Here in this picture, you are seeing the Archangel Michael, which is a Forsaken war machine, up against a Scarred Nightmare Juggernaut, which is actually a giant Scarred war machine. The difference here is that the Archangel acts as a big propaganda piece as well. It's meant to be flashy, showy, show the might of the Forsaken against their enemies. Versus the Nightmare Juggernaut, which is, this is a giant experiment we have that's meant to go out there and kill things for us.
Can't say better than that. Sounds lovely. We then have one of our main characters from the universe. So who is this, Dave?
This is Bendarin Dersh, who's the leader of the Salt Flat Nomads, sub-faction of the Outcasts.
Right.
So he leads the Dersh tribe of the Sulfat Nomads, the largest of the tribes.
Right, and from talking off camera, this is your faction. These are the guys that you lay down on the tabletop. Are they good in game?
They are great.
Nice.
They are wonderful. This Bendarin Dersh in particular is a spectacular swordsman and can do a lot of damage. Can avoid a lot of damage on the tabletop. So
right.
Yep.
So we have a sand ninja.
Basically.
Desert ninja of some sort.
Yes.
Yep.
Perfect. We then have this, which is one of my favorite pieces of artwork. What went wrong? Why is everything on fire? Why is the sky falling? Why are people burning?
So, as we mentioned before, the Forsaken have the best remnants of technology, which includes the Skylancers, which you're seeing here. This is a unit that has jump packs and these giant shock lances they use.
Right.
This is an event that happened in the latest storyline in the Forsaken book. Basically, the Forsaken experienced a breach of security, and a lot of their technology was hacked and has started to malfunction on them. Even things that should be relatively hack-proof, like a jetpack or something, an outside force is causing them to malfunction. And this is the preliminary assault, which caused most of the Skylancers to malfunction while they were in mid-flight and crash to the ground.
Absolute yikes. So what is this? Because this looks like two Forsaken characters facing off. This doesn't seem right. What's went wrong here?
So this is tying right back into what we just talked about. This is the Archangel Gabriel. And as I said before, they are war machines, and that means that they are not immune to this, the hacking that is going on and the attack that's happening to the Forsaken's technology. So this is the Archangel's been taken over by an outside force, and this is one of the Forsaken saints. This is Saint Joan, the Divine Inquisitor, who is basically stepping up to defend the people while their war machine has gone berserk in the middle of their city.
Right, so bad day at the office, I'm guessing. Very bad day at the office. Okay, now we're seeing something a little bit more shadowy, a little more Black Ops here. Who are these guys?
This is definitely a very shadowy kind of thing. These are a race that we don't see much in the game, but it's the Altegran,
right?
Who brought the Dragiri to Samaria as a slave race.
I see. So I'm guessing with the way the fluff actually went for Dark Age, when the fall happened, the lower masses rose up and overthrew their oppressors. I'm guessing the same sort of thing would have happened with the Dragiri.
The Dragiri were a slave race, and they overthrew their oppressors, the Altegran, who are these little meek aliens. These are three remaining ones from back then, who basically remember what happened and are trying to, fix the issue.
Fix the issue. Our slave labor caste has thrown off their chains, turned us into slaves. Can we turn this to our advantage? They've got a mountain to climb, I'll give them that. They do have a mountain to climb.
One thing I'll sort of mention in there, talking about the lower castes rising up against their oppressors, actually when the abandonment happened, that's the oppressors going, we're going to get out of here. Things are going bad, so we're going to leave. So.
Well, I mean, like, from what I know of the fluff myself, the entire galactic empire that was sort of set up within the universe started to crumble and fall, and the corporations who had set up on this planet to actually, run illegal operations, bioengineering, illegal weapons testing, they decided, things are going wrong here. Let's get all our valuable stuff out of here. Oh, you're a high-end technician? Come on. Get on the ship. Get out of here. Get out. Go. Quiet. Just go.
Yep.
That's exactly right. All these people were not deemed valuable enough for them to take with them, so they just left them there. 500 years later, these people have had to etch out a survival on a planet that wasn't meant to facilitate life to begin with.
Well, our next image, who is this? Is this one of our new characters?
This is one of the characters from the new Forsaken book, actually both of them here. This is a character known as the Monk, who is a bodyguard that has appeared for one of the high-level Prevailer Council, and he is standing over the fallen body of Grand Templar Marius, who is the military leader of the Prevailer Council. Right. So I don't want to explain too much about what's going on here because it is tied into the narrative of the new book, but needless to say, bad things are happening. The new book is the Forsaken book, so it is focusing a lot of the events that are happening in their society. So that's why you're seeing all these things happening, and they're the stars of the show, basically.
I see. Well, I mean, next up we have a nice little fight scene between what looks to be an outcast and one of the Scarred, yeah?
Yep, that's correct. This is one of the sort of the tribal leaders of the Scarred. Here, you can see those grafting sort of experiments they're working on there.
Well, we haven't really covered the Scarred yet, so quickly tell me, who are they and what do they get up to?
So the Scarred have been outcast from Forsaken society, and this was generations ago. Because the technology had advanced to such a point where they had access to what's known as grafting technologies, which is if you lose a hand or something like that, we can replace it with a bionic hand or even a chainsaw, whatever you want.
Cool.
The Forsaken are a very religious society, and it was deemed that any tampering with the human body was heretical, and those people are all bad and subhuman, so they're all outcasts from society. Flash forward a couple generations, these people having to wander the desert, and they kind of mutated into these subhuman wasteland cannibals that have used grafting to survive. So you have guys who just have giant claws or even wings grafted onto them that are very rudimentary.
Yeah, so basically these guys have just adapted themselves to the terrain instead of like the outcasts who would adapt the terrain to them.
Correct.
So they've sort of went at polar opposites.
Yep.
Which is, it's nice to see that in the game, where it's not just everybody feels the same, everybody has their own backstory, and it's really, really cool to see. Next up, we have, what is this?
This is actually a fight between two members of the Outcast faction. They're two separate leaders of two, or characters from two separate sub-factions of the Outcasts. So again, we've got Bendar and Dersh here, fighting against Bonner Spite of the Slavers of Chain Barrett.
Okay, so we have your raiders, and we have your slavers.
Yep.
So we're seeing the two different ways you can actually try and survive in this world. I can either try and eke out a living scavenging, being nomadic, moving about, or I can just become a slaver and start trying to draw resources into my clan and into myself.
Correct.
Yep. Very, very nice. We have a beautiful piece of artwork. Is this the main leader of the guys here?
Michael?
That is Bendarin's basically prepping for an assault by the Scarred.
Moving on further, I would like to know who this person is, because he's got a very, very cool look to him. So who is this, Dave?
This is a Soulflat Nomad herder. This is actually one of the models or pieces of artwork that first drew me to the Soulflat Nomads. While the planet is very, very nasty, and there aren't a lot of resources to work with, there are still animals on the planet, all of them incredibly deadly.
Of course.
There's a food chain of deadliness. But the Nomad herders use their shock prods there to move some of them around.
Go after something like this.
Which is essentially an enormous sand crocodile, the Molokai. So this is the Soulflat Nomad trying to escape from an ambush by a Molokai.
Lovely, lovely. Now, we do have one of the other factions here who I think is really cool. This is the Kukulkani, I believe they're called. And they've got a very, very nice feel to them. Can you give us a little bit of background on them?
So we had released these guys for 12/21/12, the Mayan Apocalypse, which unfortunately never happened. Well, I mean, so we're all still here. That's a plus. But
yeah. I can still play my war games. I'm happy.
We released these guys for that, and basically in our storyline, you had this ancient spacefaring race known as the Kotl that landed on Earth, found the Mayan Empire that basically started worshiping them as gods. And so when they left the planet, they took them with them, and for the last millennia have been elevating them into a warrior race.
Ah, I see. So these guys, have they came to this world now, or were they already here?
They came to this world based on events actually in the storyline. When we introduce a new faction, there's a reason that they are appearing there suddenly. It's not like we're going to retcon and go, oh, they were always there.
Yeah.
Events in the storyline actually led the Kukulkani to come to the planet and actually get involved in the events that are transpiring.
Okay. So what is their main drive behind them? What's bringing them to the planet, just very quickly?
So they actually tie back into the core, which we looked at earlier. The core work off entropic drives, which is they can take any organic matter they find and turn into basically fuel cells for their batteries. That was actually reverse engineered by mankind from Kukulkani technology they found when they were out exploring the universe.
I see.
So the Kukulkani have flying by this planet and all of a sudden get these pings of like their holy technologies radiating off this planet, and they're like, what's going on here? No one's supposed to be there. They land and find that we have taken these machines and taken their holy tech, which they believe in the great cycle. You know, things die, things are born, and then they die again, and the cycle repeats itself.
Yeah.
We've taken that, and now we've used that energy to fuel these soulless, lifeless robots, and so they're not super happy about that.
I can see why. I can see why. Well, overall, the world looks absolutely beautiful. We've got some more stuff for the nomads, or the outcasts here, sorry.
Yep.
And so I believe this is a camp scene.
Yep. So these are the Soulflat Nomads in a camp scene.
And I'm guessing this is just what they do in general. They'll move around the wastelands, trading and fighting as they need to, because I think we have another one here of Bendarin Dursh is the name.
Yep, this would be a tribal warrior. Yep.
Okay, so we have a tribal warrior facing off against another one of the Scarred.
Yep.
And what do we have here? Because this is a very interesting little piece of artwork.
This one is, again, Bendarin Dursh. He's known as the Blade Lord. And to take the position to lead the Dursh tribe, he had to fight his father for the position. So
what, is this the actual duel we're seeing here of him versus his father?
This is the duel against his father.
It's really interesting to see how society has actually changed within these worlds, having gone down to the basest levels of just scrounging and trying to survive, to rebuilding many civilizations within each faction. It's very, very cool. I really like what we're seeing here. Right, guys, I think we'll move on here. Drop us a comment below. What do you think of the world of Dark Age after what you've heard here? Do you like what you're seeing? Do you think you'll maybe jump into it? Drop us a comment below. We will see you in the next video.